What's going on YouTube? You're watching Fixed by Shaq, and in today's quick video I'm going to show you how to fix your Apple Watch if it's stuck here on the Apple logo. It's trying to boot up, or in other words turn on, but it simply gets stuck here on this logo and it ends up not turning on. Do not worry, I'm going to show you all the possible steps or all the possible solutions in order to fix your Apple Watch. And regardless of the Apple Watch model that you've got, if you've got a different model, a different than mine, or something much newer or something much older, do not worry, these steps are exactly the same and this should help fixing the problem that you've got. Most importantly, what you need to do is follow the steps in the specific order that I'll be showing them to you in today's video. Now, at the end of the video, if you're unable to fix the issue by following all the steps, then you might be in a situation which is much complicated, where your Apple Watch might be facing a much severe hardware issue in here. But fingers crossed, I believe by the end of the video this issue will be fixed. Let's jump straight into the tutorial. Hey, my name is Shaq, and in this channel I help you fixing tech related issues, and I also share cool tech hacks and tutorials. So if you're into tech content, consider subscribing here to the YouTube channel. Now here I am, I've got my Apple Watch in here. Of course, my Apple Watch is working pretty fine. This is just an image representation that I'm using to showcase how the problem looks like, but we are going to diagnose, and I'm going to be showing you all the steps you need to take in order to fix this issue right here. Now, jumping straight into the first step in here, what I would recommend you guys to do is to actually double check your charger. Okay, so when I mean charger, I mean the entire combination of the cable as well as the socket. For example, in my case, I've got in here my complete charger, which is made up of this cable and then this socket right here. So what you want to do is double check both the socket as well as the cable. So first things first, what you need to check first is the socket in here, which is what in most cases causes trouble in here. So you want to replace the socket and connect this cable into a different USB-A socket and see if it charges. Now, if you do not have a different socket, you can easily connect it, for example, if you do have a USB-A, into your computer, your laptop device, or a different USB-A port, just to double check that the cable works perfectly fine. Otherwise, if the problem persists, then try replacing the cable. Now, before replacing the cable or before trying a different cable from a different Apple Watch, double check the entire path here of the cable to see if you do not have any loose wire in here or any point where things are not looking good. If your cable is damaged, that could be the case. Try replacing the cable here. Now, other thing is you can use the same charger and try charging a different Apple Watch to see if this fixes the issue that you've got. Now, if this doesn't help, do not worry, we're moving into the next step real quick. Now, next step here will be to actually get a few cotton swabs in here, okay? Just grab one, make sure it's clean. And then here at the back, we're going to flip our Apple Watch, and we want to make sure that we clean here this area right here. This might look silly, but usually we do have, after some time, a lot of dust in here and lint. So we need to make sure that we clean it properly here and here at the middle as well, because this is where we do have the magnet connection here between your Apple Watch and the charger. In most scenarios, you won't even have dust in here, but you might be having something attached to this area right here. This can be anything that the magnet here will be attracting. So you want to make sure to clean it properly here at the back. And you want to perform the same thing here on the charger, which is basically taking here this little receiver in here and then clean it as much as you can here to see if you don't have dust or anything here blocking the connection, which is preventing your Apple Watch from charging. You might be in a situation where you do have the Apple logo, but it's actually trying to charge and trying to turn on, but when it tries to establish a stable connection, then we do have, for example, ups and downs, and this might be affecting the connection over there. Now, if this step didn't help you fixing the problem that you've got, do not worry, we're moving into the next step. Now, on the next step, pretty much, of course, after cleaning here the back and the charger, what you want to do is simply try connecting it again and see if it turns on. Now, if it doesn't turn on, means that the step actually didn't work, and I would ask you to actually perform a hard restart or a forced restart here on your Apple Watch. Now, in order to do a forced restart, it doesn't matter if it's stuck on the Apple logo or not, just perform it. In order to do this, you just need to press and hold both of the buttons in here for approximately 10 seconds. This is how it goes. Press and hold both of the buttons in here for approximately 10 seconds. Do not release both of the buttons. Just wait for approximately 10 seconds until your Apple Watch turns on. So once you see the Apple logo blinking, you're gonna release it and let your Apple Watch turn on normally. Now, this might take some time, okay? All you need to do is just wait a couple seconds and let your Apple Watch turn on normally. Here we go. Let's wait for a couple seconds and see if the problem gets fixed on your Apple Watch. Now, you want to double check if everything is solved out. If it's not solved, we're moving here into the next step. Now, here on the next step, the very first thing I would ask you to do is to actually remove here by sliding this belt that we've got in here. And in order to do this, all we need to do is simply press on this button in here and then simply slide the belt to the left or right. This is how it goes. Let me press and hold and slide it to the left. Same thing happens down here. Press and slide it to the side. And then we're going to remove all the belts here from the Apple Watch, and then we're going to keep this aside. Now, once we keep this aside, what we need to do in here is simply lock it and put your Apple Watch on a flat surface. This can be the table here, for example. Keep it on the table like this. And then once you do have it on a flat surface, what you want to do is simply tap repeatedly on these two buttons in here, something like this. You want to tap, 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 tap repeatedly here, tap, tap, tap repeatedly for approximately 15 to 20 seconds. And then you want to do the same here as well at the top, tap repeatedly for 15 to 20 seconds, as this may help fixing the problem if your buttons here are jammed. This happens a lot. It might be the case where your buttons are actually jammed. And when you're trying to actually turn on your Apple Watch, what happens is it keeps on restarting because it understands that the button is being pressed. So it's continuously restarting. So by tapping repeatedly like this, you're actually allowing your button, if it's jammed, to actually get released and work fine. This happens normally when we do have summertime where we do have a lot of heat and we might be sweating and we might be having something going inside, which will cause the button to get sticky, right? So this is the next step in order to double tap here all these buttons that you've got in here. Now, after tapping the keys repeatedly, what we're going to be doing next is simply perform the hard restart, which you already know. Both of the keys here simultaneously, see if it restarts. And if you see the Apple logo again, what I would ask you to do is to actually try changing your face watch here on your iPhone. So you want to open up the watch application in here on your iPhone, which is the one which actually connects to your Apple Watch. Of course, this will only work if you already had your Apple Watch paired to a specific iPhone. So you want to get that iPhone and you want to change your Apple Watch face in here to something else. Select something and tap on Set as Current Face Watch. You might be in a situation where you do have a little bit of communication in here, but it's not actually very stable. So if you do this, just give it a try, see if something happens in here, if things get better or if the problem gets fixed. Now, if the issue doesn't get fixed, we're moving into the next step where we would ask you to simply press your entire screen in here. Okay, so all we need to do is simply press like this. Make sure it's with your fingers so you do not apply a lot of pressure or damage, but simply press. Press, press. Trust me, might look silly, but it helps. Simply press, press, press. Press for approximately 10 to 15 seconds and do the same at the back as well. Simply press, press, press your Apple Watch as much as you can for 15 to 20 seconds approximately. Once you're done doing this, simply try performing the forced restart, and if it doesn't help, keep your Apple Watch in the freeze for 10 to 15 minutes. Might sound silly, but it helps, and do not worry because your Apple Watch will not get damaged. It's actually prepared to be in certain temperatures. It's something that it's made to be outdoor here on your wrist and temperatures which can be higher or even much lower compared to the regular temperature. So do not worry. Keep it in the freeze for 10 to 15 minutes and see if the issue gets fixed. Now, if this doesn't help fixing the problem that you've got, unfortunately, we'll have to go to the factory reset, which is the last step in here, where we're going to lose all data that we do have here on your Apple Watch. Well, you won't actually lose it because if you had it paired before with your mobile phone, all your data, of course, lies on your mobile phone, and as soon as you pair them again, it's going to actually bring back all that data into your Apple Watch once again. So in order to perform a factory reset in here, what we're going to be doing, of course, let me quickly just reattach my belt real quick. Here we go. You'll need to connect your Apple Watch to the charger, okay? It doesn't matter if it's charging or not, but you just need to connect it to your charger. So once you're connected here, what you're going to do is press and hold this side button in here for a couple seconds. Press and hold it until you see here the slide to power off. You're going to release that button. if it comes to this actually screen in here. And next up, you're going to press and hold this little button here at the top. Press and hold it and then release it, and then you'll be able to see a message which says erase all content and settings. This will reset the device to factory defaults. Now, if you're unable to do it from here, you can also do this from your iPhone device as well. Simply open up the watch application, and down here you do have an option to actually factory reset. All you need to do is hop into general real quick, go down, and then simply tap here on reset and tap on erase Apple Watch content and settings. This will help out if you're unable to do it from here, because your Apple Watch as well as your phone continuously try to pair and connect. Okay, even if it's on the Apple logo, do not worry, it might send a signal as soon as it turns on a bit. It's going to inform it that it actually needs to factory reset. So all you need to do in here, press and hold in here, side button, and then release it, press and hold at the top, and then simply tap on erase all content and settings, and this will restore your device to factory settings. And then you just need to pair it from scratch again to your iPhone device, and this should help fixing the problem as the last step. Now, I kept this last step as the ultimate step because it consumes more time. You need to actually lose all the data and then pair it once again with your phone. So I want to make sure that you try all the steps before actually losing all the data in here with this last step. But if it doesn't help, you do not have another option, you need to try this last step in here. I hope this video really helped fixing the problem that you've got. If it really helped, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comment section if you do have any doubt or if this doesn't help fixing the problem that you've got. Thanks so much for watching Fixed by Shaq till the end of the video, and if you find my content useful, consider subscribing to the channel. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day.